Hey everyone, welcome to our December BenQ webinar. We are going to be talking about BenQ Projectors today, and we've got Christian Washam-Roy, who is our field application engineer, who's going to be taking y'all through it. So welcome everyone, and I will send it over to Christian.
Oh, thanks, Talia. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the BenQ Projector You're in Control webinar. I'm Christian Washam. I'm a field application engineer with BenQ North America. I'm out of Montreal, Quebec, up here in Canada. So today we're actually going to be talking about all the different ways that you can remotely control your projectors and a bunch of different ways, and some of the awesome software that BenQ actually offers for free that you can actually control all of your projectors and other devices with. So I'll introduce myself really quickly. I'm Christian Washam. I've been working in the AV industry since I was 17 years old. Started off working on shows, video switching, operating video mixers, lighting consoles and audio consoles, and setting up shows, rigging stuff in the ceilings. And then transitioned over to permanent installs, so being an AV integrator for the last 7 years before coming to BenQ. So doing Crestron programming, all sorts of different control protocols with QSC and BIAMP and stuff like that. So there we go. So we had the great idea to go into a little bit of a deep dive on how to control your BenQ projectors for this webinar. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. There we go. So I hope everyone can see my screen well. I'll hide this. So before I start, I'm actually presenting from my RP03 series board. It's an interactive flat panel built by BenQ. It's the latest and greatest. It's the higher end model. It's called our Pro model, RP for Pro. And it has a bunch of really cool features. So this, along with the other things that I'm about to talk about, can all be found on our website at benq.com. So also, the software that I'll be using to present my webinar is actually called EasyWrite 6. It's our latest and greatest whiteboarding software. It's available as a Windows client. It's available on interactive flat panels. And it's available as a web version and for Android tablets. So if ever you're interested in trying it out, it's free, it's available for you. So go grab it on our website, once again, at benq.com. And for my camera, so I recently acquired a brand new shiny BenQ DVY23 PTZ camera. So I'm actually filming this webinar with my PTZ camera that BenQ actually sent over to test it out. It's a really cool webcam, super flexible, lots of I/O, available for RTSP streaming over your network. So if you need to create a web stream, you can actually do this with this webcam. Also with a USB 3.0 output for the video, or HDMI and SDI outputs with a bunch of different cool features. You can control it over the LAN, control it actually over RS-232, and you can it actually has built-in auto tracking, so it'll actually follow you around the room if you set it up that way. So if I move from left to right, the camera will follow me if I have the auto tracking set up. Quick picture, once again, benq.com if you're looking to. So I'll start off by talking about the types of controls that are included with our BenQ projectors. So definitely always check out the spec sheet if you're planning on using one of these types of controls to confirm 100% that this projector has this particular control protocol integrated into it. Once again, go to the projector, go to the spec sheet, online at BenQ.com and check it out. So the control options for our BenQ projectors are as follows. So we have CEC control, which is consumer electronics control. This is actually control over HDMI. We'll talk about it more in depth when we get to that slide. We have Wake on LAN. We have the serial commands via the LAN, serial commands via the DB9 ports. So a lot of people call these the RS-232 ports. RS-232 is actually the protocol and not the connector. And serial commands via HD-based-T. So we'll talk about that later, but that's a really interesting way to actually control your projectors, send video, audio, absolutely everything that you need over one single Cat6A cable. And probably the best part of this presentation will be the BenQ DMS. So BenQ DMS local can actually be used on your local network to control your BenQ projectors and other devices that are actually on your network. So including your interactive flat panels, other TVs, and other brands of projectors too. So we'll get to that. So we'll start with CEC controls. So CEC controls are consumer electronic controls. So this is a standard that's being implemented by the HDMI Standards Association. So CEC, let's say I plug a Blu-ray into my TV and suddenly my Blu-ray remote can suddenly control my TV. Well, that's CEC. So you're actually the control is bidirectional. So usually what will happen when you have CEC enabled on both devices, if I power on my Blu-ray, it'll actually power on my TV and vice versa, depending on how the settings are set up. So whenever you see maybe an Apple TV plugged into a projector and you power on the Apple TV and magically the projector comes on with it, it means that CEC is enabled on both those devices and they're actually powering each other on and sharing their remote control commands. So it's a really nice and easy way to do things if you want to just have one remote instead of two. And let's say I have an Apple TV hooked up to my projector, I power on my Apple TV, it powers on the projector, and vice versa. So it actually makes for a much better user experience, and it's really easy to set up because it's already there. You're going to already have to have that HDMI cable plugged into the projector. So Wake on LAN. Wake on LAN is a protocol, a very, very old protocol that actually uses your local area network to power on and off your BenQ projector. So this is a great protocol because you can leverage your existing infrastructure over your LAN. If you have any other programs that are already running Wake on LAN commands to other devices, you can use the Wake on LAN protocol to power on and off your BenQ projector. Yeah, and this will actually also avoid having to use expensive third-party software. You'll see we do have the BenQ DMS local that can actually Wake on LAN projectors that are compatible with it. So next section, the using serial commands to control your projectors. So there are a bunch of different ways to get serial commands to your BenQ projectors, and we'll actually go over each one of those. And yeah, so what's nice about this is that the following methods all use the same strings or commands to control your projector. BenQ has standardized our serial commands across our product lines to make it easier for you. So the power on command, the power off command, HDMI 1, HDMI 2, HDMI 3 will actually be the same going from a BenQ interactive flat panel to a BenQ projector, which is really cool. And yeah, we actually partner with industry-leading third-party control manufacturers and actually get our projectors approved by them and certified. So you know that with AMX, if you're using an AMX control system, for those of you that are familiar with it, we have the automatic device discovery for AMX. We have Crestron Room View certifications on most of our projectors, Extron certified over the LAN, and PJ-Link compatible too. So PJ-Link is an open source command protocol that was actually created by another company and actually open source for everybody to use. So if you were controlling one projector before over the PJ-Link protocol, you can just swap it out with a BenQ projector, and the same commands will actually power on and off that projector. So for those of you familiar with PJ-Link, it is available on our projectors also. So this is probably the most archaic way of sending your commands to your projector, is actually sending it via RS-232 over the DB9 port on your projector. So this is done over a copper cable. You need your transmit, your receive, and your ground. So it's 3 pins. So all BenQ projectors are compatible with the RS-232 protocol via the DB9 port. So this ensures compatibility with all third-party control systems. So there's no ports, there's no nothing. It's just a straight wire coming from a DB9 connector to maybe a terminal block in your control system, and you can send the proper BenQ commands over this cable. The command list can be found on the product page for each projector. So if you need to find those, you can absolutely get them on the BenQ website. So control over the LAN. So we can also send serial strings, the RS-232 over the LAN to our projectors, which is really, really nice. So like the Wake on LAN protocol, you're going to be able to leverage that existing network infrastructure to control your BenQ projectors. So the difference between controlling it via serial strings over the LAN and Wake on LAN is Wake on LAN is only going to allow you to power it on and power it off. But using the serial strings, you can actually do switch inputs. You can switch the EDID settings on the projector. You can do absolutely everything that you can do with the remote control. So you can set the serial string to have a button to go up, down, left, right, and OK, like on the D-pad of the remote control. You can change all the settings on the projector from here. And you can also ask the projector, hey, projector, how many hours do you have on your lamp? So you can actually pull the projector for its lamp hours over the RS-232 protocol. So this makes your life really, really easy. You're like, oh, let's say a projector in room 280. I need to know how many, if I need to replace the lamp soon. So we can actually pull the projector for its lamp hours over the LAN. This can also be done over the DB9 port, and over the last option that we have is the HD-based option that we'll talk about a bit later. So this is all done over your local network. So this means that it can't be done from the internet unless you have set it up that way. But usually LAN control is over the local network. So we'll go over the last way that you can actually control your BenQ projectors. So not all BenQ projectors have an HD-base-T port. So HD-base-T is a protocol that's actually used to transmit video over long distances. So you can go up to 300 feet if you have the right cabling. So it's pretty impressive. So you can extend your HDMI output over HD-base-T, or if you have an HD-base-T capable device to send out the HD-base-T signal to your projector, you don't even need to convert it. Over HD-base-T, you can actually send the control protocols, so the RS-232 protocols to trigger your projector to turn on and off. You can send the internet connection. So if you need an internet connection to your projector, you can do that over HD-base-T also. You can send your video and your audio also. So that's all over one single Cat6 cable. So when you're cabling up your projector infrastructure, you're really only passing that one single cable to the projector if you just need one input source. So you're going to get your control, your video, your audio, and your internet connection over that one cable. Pretty cool, right? So this brings me to the software that BenQ has created. So the great part about this software is that it's only $10,000. I'm kidding. It's not actually $10,000. Remove that one. It comes free like all of the other BenQ software. Updates are free to DMS Local and DMS Cloud. So DMS Local is our BenQ software for controlling our projectors and our interactive flat panels, either from your local network or from the cloud. And I'm actually going to run you through a little demo of how to sync that up. So what you can do with BenQ DMS Local is control and manage your BenQ projectors and interactive flat panels over the LAN. Control your existing projector infrastructure, interactive flat panel, and monitor infrastructure also from the LAN, obviously. So products like Epson, Panasonic, Hitachi, NEC, Mitsubishi, Casio, Samsung, LG, and the list goes on. You can actually add these to DMS Local and control them from there using serial commands. So this is what the interface actually looks like. Other things that BenQ DMS Local can do for you is you can actually get email alerts for detected errors. So the DMS Local software will actually detect lamp errors and things of the sort coming from your projectors if they go offline, stuff like that. So you can actually set yourself up to receive email alerts from the software if one of your projectors is having an issue. Like I said earlier, with serial commands, I can actually pull my projector for its lamp hours, which I think is a really, really good use case for this type of software. And you can actually schedule tasks for each device. So each string can be scheduled to be sent out at a particular time. So if I want all my projectors to power on at 8 o'clock in the morning every Monday and power off at 6 p.m., I can have that set up. Or if I just want them to power off at a particular time to make sure that all my projectors are off to save energy and lamp hours, I can do that too, all from the DMS Local software. So what I've been talking about for now is all over the local area network, but with the advent of work from home and remote work, sometimes it's nice to be able to see what's going on with your projectors over the internet. So basically anywhere with an internet connection, if you sync up your DMS local running on a machine on your local network to our DMS cloud program, you can actually control your projectors from anywhere in the world with an internet connection. So I'll show you how to get to that. I'm actually going to give you a quick demo on how to do that. So here we go. So as you can see, I'm actually running DMS local right now on my local machine. So I have a desktop computer hooked up right here. And you'll see that right now I have an LU 950 and an NX 707 actually on my local network. I hope the camera is capturing that correctly. My setup is wobbly, to say the least. I hope the PTZ camera has stayed in place since I set up the position for the projectors, but here we go. So now I've actually added the LU950 to my LAN, and as you can see, it's actually in network standby mode. So I can see that my LU950 is actually not powered on at the moment. So what I can do is I can go into my settings and actually power on my LU950 from DMS local. And there we go. So when we have a few different settings that we can change that are actually built in as macros for our BenQ projectors, but any other commands that you would like to send, if I want to poll for lamp hours and stuff like that, I can actually enter the hex or ASCII code right down here and actually push it out to that projector. And I can actually save that particular command as a new macro. So if I want to save a new command, poll for lamp hour, I can call it poll for lamp hours and actually send that command to my projector. The scheduling, so I can actually add a new task, so I can tell my projector to power on every week, Monday, Tuesday. And then hit add, and I'll actually have my projector powering on at 11:24 every week. This also allows me to see what input source my projector is currently on, what light mode it is. So if I want to turn it to eco mode, or if I want to have it dimmer, I can do that too. I can mute the image, I can blank the image. I can mute the audio, blank the image, change the brightness and the actual volume for that projector. So we also have the option to turn on and off the HDMI output on this particular projector built in as a macro into DMS local. So say, okay, that's really nice, Chris, but like now I want to be at home and actually be able to see what is going on with my projectors. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to put DMS local in what we call agent mode. So from the settings right here, we can actually switch it to agent mode and hit continue. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically setting up my local machine to act as a router for the information that's going to be coming in from the internet, allowing us to control our projectors from our DMS cloud program. So we'll just wait for it to sync up. It's going to actually give me a QR code that I can add to my DMS cloud using the BenQ DMS software. There we go. So I'll actually add these devices to my DMS cloud. And now I'm actually over on my laptop. So like I'm on a completely different machine at the moment. So we'll go over to play. So just need to adjust my screen sharing. So now I'm over in DMS Cloud. Just going to there we are. So as you can see, I've now have my BenQ projectors added to my DMS cloud. So this is the point where I'm actually going to be able to control my projectors from anywhere in the world, which is really, really nice. So you saw the process, it's really, really quick. So I'm going to actually send a command to my MX707, which is that tiny little projector that's sitting on top of the LU950 over there. Go to controls, and I'll actually hit power on. And we should actually see it come online over here. So we'll see as the projector powers on, it should turn from yellow to green right here. This will also allow us from the cloud to see, we go over to the information tab, we can actually see the MX707's current IP address, see its unique ID, and once it's powered on, we'll actually be able to see its now we see that it's actually powered on. And if we click on it here and go to the information tab, we can actually see its MAC address right here and its IP address and its unique ID, what input source it's currently on, and if it's powered on and off. And once again, we can actually schedule tasks for our projectors even from the cloud. Great. Well, I hope this gave you all a good idea of how you can possibly implement and add BenQ projectors to your existing infrastructure, and how you can leverage DMS local to actually enhance your control and your efficiency over your current and new infrastructure. If you need any help, we have the FAA team that's always here to help you get this set up in your organization. If you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me. Talia will actually put my email in the chat. And yeah, do we have any questions?
Yeah, we'll open it up for questions. Anyone who's got anything, y'all can put it in the chat. You can just go ahead and say it, whatever works for y'all. We'll give it a couple of minutes and see what we got. All right. Oh, hey, we've got one. Hang on a sec. Is there a limit to how many projectors can be controlled?
Sorry, Talia, can you repeat that?
The question is there a limit to how many projectors can be controlled?
There is not. Well, I haven't seen someone hit the limit yet. I've seen over 500 devices in DMS Cloud, all managed. So yeah, no, there's no limit that I'm aware of with the amount of devices that can be controlled for DMS local. And you have if you have BenQ interactive flat panels in your infrastructure, it's going to be a really, really nice way to actually manage absolutely all of your interactive equipment directly from one platform.
Let's see. Hang on one second. I think I've got another one.
Okay.
Somebody is new to doing control. What protocol should they be pointed to? The cloud-based system?
So you need the local system to sync your projector information to the cloud. So you actually need to be running DMS local at all times on a machine that is always on in your organization. What I suggest that people do is actually run it on one of their local servers, because your server is going to be constantly powered on. So you run DMS local on your server, and then you can actually sync that up to the cloud. Or you can just run DMS local on your local area network. And when you show up on site, you can actually control all your projectors once you're on site. The cloud management is really if you want to do it remotely. So I think one of the easiest protocols that you can kind of implement if you have no experience with control protocols is actually CC, because we just have to enable CC on our BenQ projector, enable it on the sending device. So we enable it on our Apple TV or on our Blu-ray player, and then when I power on my Apple TV, it powers on the projector at the same time and actually switches it over to the right input source, which is a really easy way of doing it. And it kind of adds a little bit of a wow factor into your installation, and it's really easy to do and really easy to implement, because you only need that one HDMI cable that you're going to be plugging in from your Blu-ray player or from your Apple TV or from your Chromecast, Fire Stick, all that sort of thing. All these devices that I just named off are all CC compatible, so they'll actually power on any CC compatible device. Any other questions?
I haven't gotten any in the chat yet, so a couple seconds, and then I've actually sent your email to everyone through the chat box in case they think of a question afterwards. And just a reminder, everyone in attendance will get a Starbucks gift card, so keep an eye out for that in the next couple of days. It should go to your email address. And yeah, no more questions, I guess. So just holler at Christian later through his email if you think of anything. And thank you so much, Christian, for presenting for us today.
My pleasure, Talia. Take care, everyone. Wishing you all a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.